pretty absurd. They do get a hard lockdown right away on Secret and a very fast. This is a fast-paced draft already for me. The DK Enchantress, they're looking to siege towers early on, put the pressure on, and they're always going to have the backup of this instant lockdown versus Storm Spirit.
And the nice thing about DK versus Storm is it's not just a hard lockdown. It's something that is very difficult to play around unless you've got eyes on the DK. It's not some projectile that you can zip away from, right? If you're not always cautious about it, you're going to get stunned.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, DK just continues to like be on the rise as well too. The shard timing is pretty crazy, and it's just how much. It's a lot of heroes that you also take out of, not like take out of the pool entirely, but you limit. Because what we've been seeing a lot is like this DK versus Tiny. I know teams have been straying a lot away from the Tiny lately, but you know, this breathe fire damage reduction is nothing to laugh about either. It's pretty absurd.
Yeah, I do have to say though that Gladiators do like to play Bane quite a bit. I know some people are a little bit skeptical about how well IO and Bane work together as a support duo, but now that there's an Enchantress and a DK, I think the value of the hero goes up just because Enfeeble is just so good versus any kind of healing, any kind of HP regen.
It's also just a great save too. Like just your Storm gets stunned, you have this mini little nightmare to stop this kind of burst damage too. I mean, Bane is always going to be a really strong pick. And looking at bans, I feel like they're covering that off-lane DK in particular, or just protecting the DK.
Yep.
We see this Monkey King and Ursa ban, so trying to ensure that he has a good game.
Yeah, and on the other side, I feel like GAIMIN Gladiators is protecting their Storm a bit as well.
The Invoker and the Puck. We've got the Silence, the Quail, very difficult to play against, and the Quasax Invoker can do incredibly well versus Storm and also matches rotations, right? Play an active kind of game that Storm doesn't necessarily want to play into early on.
The Ember's still in the pool for Nisha. He's looked super good on. If he does want
the nice thing about Bane versus these two heroes already is that, like, let's say that typically you're scared about getting your grip cancelled, but if you do go for the grip on the DK, Enchantress can't really do that much to stop you unless she's got a Centaur or something like that. So I still am really fond of this pick.
It's like one of the, I mean, nothing deals with the creep in the lane. But it's one of the better ones because it's just a super strong, sufficient 5-position laner. So yeah, I mean, I can still see that Bane always looks good.
A lot of teams have like to pick Mirana versus Enchantress as she's risen to popularity. It's actually something that Secret often do, but I don't think I've seen Gladiators ever experiment with the hero.
Never mind.
But now that the meta has shifted a little bit, I wonder if that's something they've talked about or even considered. There is no setup for her though.
That's the one, yeah.
They would have to correct that.
Exactly, that's the one thing I'm like, IO Mirana dual support sounds a little weird to me, but if they do want to just fully address the Enchantress, I can see it. And they still do ban Tiny. Okay, that's cool. So even when they have the DK, they are going to take that away. Because, I mean, IO Tiny is also its own monstrosity.
Do you feel like
IO's paired up.
When you do have an IO Storm, do you want your core to also be an IO pairing? Or is that more like optional? Like, it's nice if it's there, but not necessity.
You do want it because your IO is going to be playing with your Storm early on, just so he can play for kills. But later on, you do need to hit towers, right? And that's where your Tiny comes in. I'm really surprised Coddle's been untouched for both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised if Secret... Coddle and DK is a really strong combo. The double stun, double breathe fire is coming out, but...
IO is no disables whatsoever.
But now your Storm has so much mana. I would have been so surprised if they didn't take this Coddle, because you're also playing against Enchantress, right? The eliminate damage very good against her, but also you can just defend these towers, which is very important because you're playing against the DK Dragon form, the potential Dark Troll Summoner. You're going to need a way to clear it instantly, and IO and Storm don't give that to you at the moment.
But there's Nyx in the pool, and we did see Yapsor have a phenomenal game on the Nyx, and it's into Coddle and Storm. I feel like it's like screaming Nyx Assassin, unless they're worried about some other answer to the Nyx. I would be pretty shocked if they don't pick Nyx or like even Earth Spirit. I feel like can work. Maybe the lane might be too work with the Earth Spirit, but with maybe they might just switch things up and put it in the top lane, and they move the Enchantress to the DK. I mean, they still can flex the DK also to mid as well, so there's still a lot of flexibility, but
I like Nyx more than Earth Spirit just because Earth Spirit can get jumped on, and also when you get Solar Bound on Earth Spirit,
it's really sad.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
Sad. But yeah, those are both really good ideas, right? Because like Earth Spirit's got the Geo Grip for the Storm, can control the Eye on the backlines, the Coddle in the backlines, and it's good call on the Nyx. There it is.
I mean,
it's a lot safer. It's a lot sturdier.
Yeah. Multiple stuns. It's one of the best heroes at scouting and also at just stopping Coddle from like deep pushing. And I feel like right now their lineup is with the DK Enchantress set up to push. If Nyx is like creeping around back, he can just mess with this Kalo.
10 seconds
and the Storm.
remaining.
He can do so much. Like even the relocate setups. Like he's got this stun, like
5
multiple
seconds
stuns to be able
remaining.
to control these heroes.
Yep.
Storm's game did get a lot more difficult with the stun from the DK
Radiant
and
team
with the
pick.
Nyx, but the way that Storm is going to play with the IO sustain and the chakra magic is that he's probably going to get that very early BKB.
Yeah.
So long as he does just get a few kills early on and farms his timing, just gets that BKB, he shouldn't have any issues with mana, right? So suddenly there's a counterplay to this Nyx. There's a way for you
10
to go in and
seconds
take these
remaining.
fights.
Flop. So more things about jumping back, and also just no
5
stuns, right?
seconds
IO Kalo,
remaining.
no stuns, Queen of Pain, massive burst damage, and IO Kalo can be quite fragile. It takes some time for them to really get to their tanky points. You know, the mech comes out on IO relatively early, but that's the one thing about Keeper Light that I do always notice is this hero, sure, you're moving 550 movement speed the whole game, but you're like a 1000 HP hero. If you do get connected by Sonic Wave and one disable, you're just dead.
And now you've got the added backline jump, right?
Yeah.
The way you were talking about how Nyx provides that vision so well and is able to, for example, carapace and catch the Kalo, he's not going to do the damage necessary to take out the IO or the Kalo. So he's going to need that extra bursty hero. And while DK does buy a blink and can jump on the backlines,
secrets
it's not the
turn
same as
to
having
bad.
the Queen of Pain, you know, Sonic Wave and Scream. That's going to kill the Kalo for sure. So I definitely understand it. I just feel like Quap got a little bit nerfed and she just
Agreed.
doesn't feel as strong without the Kaya Sanj the way that she used to. The shard getting nerfed for wave clear isn't what it used to be.
10 seconds
They're going to go for their
remaining.
Mars. So, I mean, that's something they've been playing with a lot here.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
it is a good pairing if they do want to have it with the Kalo. Just, again, now another a really good chakra combo, because although I like Kalo with the IO and the Storm, I want something that utilizes chakra. So boom, we've got Mars, we've got Rebuke plus Spear. It doesn't, of course, refresh the Spear instantly, but it gets pretty close. So it's quite a strong combo, at least to pair up with in lane 2 with a stun and a blast.
Yep. We have actually not seen Ace play it yet this tour, though. It's always been Boom in the mid lane.
Mm-hmm. And that will
10
be a switch up,
seconds
too.
remaining.
Oh.
Yeah, so the arena doesn't seem super valuable just
5
because of
seconds
how tanky
remaining.
all of these heroes are, and the Queen of Pain potentially being able to blink out if she's not the one who's being speared. They
Team
can correct that by
secrets
just taking a
turn to
carry. You
ban.
can take advantage of everyone being locked in place for a while. But so far, they are going to lack that damage a little bit. I mean, up until Kotl gets super farmed, right, and just
Yes.
starts killing everybody with all osmotic damage.
I'm slightly worried though, just because of the lack of that lockdown and lack of like building taking. I see Team
10
Secret, they have
seconds
lockdown,
remaining.
they have building taking, they have ways to catch the Kotl, they have ways to scout out the
5
fights they can pick and
seconds
choose
remaining.
versus this Mars ult. Because right now it's really just Mars ult for the team fight. When I see Team Secret having quite a
Radiant
bit more
team ban.
DK form and Quap, and even the Nyx.
Yeah, but the Mars and the Kotl, Mars is also a very good wave clear with the Rebuke and
Yes.
Spear, and especially when a team decides to go high ground, if Mars has a couple of items, he can actually just clear the inch creep quite quickly. So I guess that is a nice added layer to having this
10
Mars. I just feel like
seconds remaining.
there's nothing to really take
Team
advantage of the
secrets
arena
turn to
so
pick.
far. That's my only issue with it.
And what it would have to be. I mean, it has to be their carry that takes advantage of the arena. And I mean, Luna is one of the best, so definitely seeing the reason why Secret banned out that.
10
And the Juggernaut would have been
seconds
great too,
remaining.
right? There isn't
Yeah.
any kind of disable that goes through BKB on the side of
5
Secret, so
seconds
Jug could have just
remaining.
played the sled push game quite easily. The Omni Slash into the arena would have been really nice.
Is the Lifestealer one of the ones that does the same thing? One of the carry heroes? Also another usual suspect that is still in the pool is a Terrorblade. We've seen that quite a bit over the last week.
Nikes, you're potentially laning versus Nyx and DK. Looks like a pretty free lane if they do want to go for Lifestealer. I just haven't seen it too often lately.
No, it's not been very popular at all. Both of these squads, in terms of carries, have played Phantom Assassin.
I mean, PA could potentially be the secret pick. Jumping onto IO and Kotl, if they have the vision, is really strong. But,
Anti-mage.
oh, AM's still in the game.
They can also jump on IO.
They knew it was coming though. I think they knew.
Instant Meepo, instant Meepo.
First
Oh.
Meepo game, let's go!
I have no idea how good this hero is right now.
Okay.
I know the build that people are doing
Hang
for
on.
the most part, but maybe you have a little bit more of
Ace
it.
is playing Meepo!
It's his Meepo. He called for it.
Yep.
It's a really good matchup versus Queen versus a lot of the game. Same thing for AM. This catch is pretty ridiculous. I just have no idea how strong the hero potentially is right now.
But this is actually such an interesting pick because they needed some kind of fast-paced hero with a lockdown, right? Because that's what they lacked. And your options would have been so subpar if you had to go for something like a Wraith King or a Chaos Knight, Heroes of Stuns. But you pick this Meepo, who on paper will have a great game versus the 2 cores of Secret. It's just, how's his laning phase gonna go? I'm so curious. And how are they gonna lane it
10
on
seconds
Gladiators?
remaining.
I just feel like if you are going to
5 seconds remaining.
call for your signature Meepo pick, you better be darn sure that you're going to deliver. So I cannot think of a reason to go against that, because we have a lot of question marks with that, right? Because we don't really see it.
And I do have
instant.
I have No Tail in the back of my head right here. Honestly, I used to watch and talk with him. I mean, I still talk with him quite a lot. And whenever he would see Queen of Pains, and whenever he'd see like anti-mages, and he sees a Meepo, he usually says like, this Meepo looks godly in the game. Like they used to play the Meepo versus the Quap in lane too. So, I mean, if they pick it like that fast, they must have a big reasoning for it. I'm just unknown for the hero in competitive at the moment, but I like it, I think.
I really like it. We don't really have a gauge on Meepo's power level yet, but on paper, this hero is just so good in the core-to-core matchups. But also, I think Secret had a very fast-paced lineup going for them until they picked the anti-mage, and suddenly became more of a let's play 4 heroes and just leave them to farm. And had they gone for maybe a faster carry, they would have been able to play into the Meepo, but this Meepo's going to hit his timings way earlier than anti-mage will. So I like it. Let's hope it works.
We got a very normal, well-rounded draft on the side of Team Secret. You know, we can't complain about that. And on the other side, we got just a big question mark in the Meepo. How is his power level at the moment? We're finding out with this game 1 together with Only Pixel and T-Gov.
Thank you very much, Chief. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Game 1 of Team Secret versus GAIMIN and Gladiators. And T, we have got some fantastic stuff today in this first game from the looks of it. We're getting a Meepo, we're getting to see some male anti-mage and stuff going on. I mean, T, what do you make of this? I mean, a Meepo making an appearance here. How good of a Meepo game do you think this is on paper?
Well, it's nice to finally see Meepo return. We're going to say that one time it's going to win this game and ruin pubs, and then we're all going to be, you know, super sad that it's now in every single game. But no, I think honestly it's better than people have been giving it shtick for, just because, like the panel mentioned, when picked in the position where you see, you know, weak AoE damage or, you know, these mobile heroes that can get punished from the early Earthbind, like it works quite wonders. And of course, you know, just to update people, yeah, it has been picked. Yeah, true. It has been, and Arkosh has beaten it. So this is now going to be the true test. All right, this is the true test for Meepo. On the hands of Ace. But no, you know, build-wise, it's, I think nowadays you're buying, you know, Dragonlance for the stats of the, you know, the Agi, the strength for the clones. You then buy a second one into then. It's like obviously Blink, Hex, Skadi, that style of build. You're still playing the assassins, roaming the map, farming up the map, going for the pickoffs. And it's still old school Meepo, so nothing too crazy has changed in regards to what the hero does.
Yes. I guess one of the differences that we are going to see straight up in how it starts the game is it's going to be laned in the safe lane, right? You know, you're not seeing this Meepo taking a lane on their own in the mid. They are going to be supported down bottom.
Yeah, and this is a big change up for just gaming Gladiators and how they approach, because normally
Radiant's courier
they do
has been
put
killed.
Ace in the solo safe lane. Think about his Tidehunters, his Legions, Timber Swords, right? They're often tri-lane to enable a Meepo. So Ace isn't unfamiliar to playing this area of the map as the off-lane player. It is just going to be a difference in, you know, farm disparity. You know, Dracho, he's now playing more utility style off-lane on the Mars. So a big shift in the farming style of gaming Gladiators. They were probably one of the most consistent teams for following a script within draft and play, performing it to a super high level. So this type of left field change up in strategy, I don't think anyone would have expected it. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, because when you see a team do this, you know, from gaming Gladiators, do you think this was something that, you know, they've had in store, their practice, or could this have been Ace sort of making the call, hey, let me play the Meepo, Meepo's going to be unstoppable against these heroes? Ooh, you know, this is a type of scenario where they've probably done it like once in a scrim against a semi-decent team. They won super convincingly, and now it's been in the back of their minds the entire time, you know? I don't think it's something they've practiced
tower is under attack.
Crazy amounts, but it's probably, you know, at least one scrim, one practice match, and now it's like, yeah, boys, let's bring it to an official.
You wanted to go with me.
I mean, and you know, it's a best of 3. You know, it's game 1. Might as well give it a shot. And if it does work out here, it's definitely going to add something else to the list of things that you've got to be scared of Gaming Gladiators pulling out against you in the draft.
Yeah, I think in regards to a bit of history of Meepo, I feel like it did kind of fall in popularity just because, you know, the divided we stand was like a higher level to obtain it, and then also the poof damage was slowly getting nerfed patch by patch.
Yeah, it did.
And now I think it sits at max level. It's 90 damage, but it is pure, not magical like it used to be. So there are, you know, swings and roundabouts, but overall I think the hero is in a very average place where if you have a specialist, I'm sure you can get a lot from the hero and really, you know, dominate the game. But it isn't like the super OP, get to, you know, level, you know, 11, 12, kill everyone on the map, win the game type of hero.
Oh, well, we'll see how it goes on this game. And on the other side, I think, you know, for Secret, Smail's going to have a bit of a slowdown there. Did try and get that Ring of Health as early as possible, but the Courier's going to get taken out. So they'll have to wait a little time before he's able to pick that one up. Tip's getting thrown out across the map already. How are we seeing on the lanes? Anything getting out of hand? We've got mid lane, Boom, getting a bit of a lead against Nisha. 22 for 0 against the 15 for 3. On the side lanes, I mean, Ace is definitely having a slow start.
Stupendous.
He's not having an easy time hitting the creeps down here. He's got the lowest CS right now.
It's been a pretty difficult start just because Yapsor's been non-stop pulling the creep wave, so Ace has kind of been, you know, chasing them, following them as well. You know, Meepo, he does kind of want a more static lane to farm up, and again, you see the I's positioning. He naturally doesn't want to steal that early XP. Like we mentioned before, Meepo, he needs to get the levels early to get the divided we stand, to then be able to start being a bit more of a presence in both lane and jungle. Nice little click down here, actually.
Yeah, and give an ice a proper right click down it. But Ice, yeah, he's prepared for a bit of a you know, sort of smashing down. He's got the stats to withstand it. The double braces are done. 2 points to the Dragon's Blood. He'll be fine. Very unlikely they'll ever be able to kill him down here. At the least they can try and bully him back. Free up a bit of space for Ace to start getting the opportunity to farm. Mid lane. Boom. Now he has immediately has to go for the TP. He's get the reach in with the stun. Oh, he is. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Big time there. Nisha getting the first blood, and Boom not having a TP to return to lane.
I think everyone wants to see that one in slow-mo. Yeah. That was it a 0.1?
I think it was close to, wasn't it, on the TP? It was very close, but Yaps were able to reach in as he did. That hurts the mid lane big time. Nisha is going to be over the moon with that one.
Yeah, I guess the at least one, you know, positive from that is Ace did hit level 4, getting the second Meepo. He is somewhat independent now bot lane, so at least I can TP mid without the fear of, oh no, my Meepo is going to get run at as well. So yeah, sure, Storm dies, but they're able to recover from the situation quite nicely.
Yeah, we'll see it again here.
Oh, yes.
It was close. Here we go. What did it get down to? Oh, it really did. It really did. It was so close to getting out, Boom.
That was like sub 0.1. That was a good one.
That is one of those moments that, you know, if it was a pub game, something would probably be being said in the chat. You know, some
yeah. Keyboard land or something.
Yeah. Definitely a frustrating bit of Dota 2 there for Boom, but he's back in the lane. And his farm's still good, but Nisha, who was a little bit behind, is now taken over, of course, with that series of events. Mid.
And, you know, this is a, you know, what was it, Team Spirit tweeted earlier today? You know, Toronto Tokyo's tier list for mid heroes. I think he put Quap in the D tier, in the bottom tier.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I
feel like we've been seeing less Quap, right?
Yeah, we have. But it's nothing because of the hero and like major patch changes. Like fundamentally, the hero's still the same. Sans, Kaya, Shard, Noel's not doing a spell amp. The Prophet and all these other heroes in mid lane going up in popularity. It's one of those just natural meta shifts rather than it being Quap is bad. It's just more Quap's still good, but not needed to be first picked in the draft. It's now just there in the toolkit.
Are fortified. Dire's
Yeah, this Quap's going to need a
structures
good game to be able to kind of help bridge the kind of mid-game pressure that Meepo brings. So, for example, having Shiva's BKB.
See mid, trying to make a bit of a move. Yapster and Puppy will be around to help out. Boom, working on both Carapace will be able to finish off Yapster as it comes to an end.
They needed that return kill for sure. They needed to. They got away and Yapster lived. Bring both supports from GAIMIN Gladiators. That was an important trade back. Yeah, like I was saying, against Meepo, as long as you can survive that map pressure of the mid game, and then you have the items to survive the jump. You have like Shivas for the the less HP regeneration, or you have like the attack slows and BKBs and stuff. You're able to comfortably, I say comfortably very loosely, survive going into the late game. But it's about going even or winning the early game to be able to make Meepo feel uncomfortable looking for the fights, because he knows he's jumping into like a one-item advantage. Like, it's very difficult when it's an anti-mage to carry. Like if it was any other semi-active style carry, Secret could look through quite early to take that fight, but they're always going to be kind of looking to retreat and to skip the map and farm until they have a 3-4 item anti-mage. Yeah, it is a difficult entry to get for sure.
That's another bit of a poke between Boom and Nisha. Yeah, talking about the anti-mage for Zamel, we're seeing, again with the item build, something that, is this just becoming the norm now? We saw the update from Nico Baby on his anti-mage, I believe. You always want to be getting this Vanguard early, rather than just going for the Treads Battle Fury Rush. It slows down your timing a bit, but makes you just that little bit more unkillable in the early stages.
Yeah, exactly that. And, we just mentioned the fact that it's a difficult game for anti-mage to want to join fights in that Vanguard. It gives him that opportunity to, if he is jumped, the extra, damage block against the Meepos might give him that sustainability to survive. And
for sure.
Suddenly, out of position, you get that turnaround from maybe like a DK stun with a shard or the Quap ult. Like, there are ways for them to make plays, and it just gives anti-mage an insurance policy for farm. And again, like you said, you disassemble it, use that ring, create the Battle Fury. You can either remake Vanguard for Abyssal or just keep it casual and then go for, the Manta or something quicker. It's just a very nice way to use disassembling in DOTA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really limits that sort of vulnerability that an anti-mage can have without that sort of extra bit of buff to his HP and protection. The damage block. I guess this is working out quite nicely for GAIMIN Gladiators with the setup, because they have Tofu on a hero like the Keeper of the Light. Ace can take the jungle, and Tofu can, pretty single-handedly just keep this wave shoved out and make it very hard for Ice to actually get the chance to hit the tower too much.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing this DK ever hit this tier 1 tower unless it's a Nyx plus Edge all coming bottom to then try and out the Keeper of Light and then hit the tower. So yeah, very much farming kind of the macro play right now. Ace should be uncontested in the jungle.
Here I am.
Tofu should be, farming up the Storm bot lane. And yeah, you see, they're just being very efficient on their side of the map, and they're not rushing anything because they understand it's when Meepo is ready to fight, you need to have your entire, cast ready to join. Like Mars needs Blink, Storm needs either an Orchid or a Sand Fire, or like a York, just any of the cheaper items, and then you look to non-stop fight around every time Meepo is happy to engage. But the first Dragon Launch complete right now. Again, in the pubs, we haven't seen Meepo in pubs recently in regards to Pro Tracker, but there's been, a couple hundred games if that. It is very much Treads, double Dragon Lance, a Wraith Band, Blink Dagger, into then either like a Hex, Scardy. Ace actually opting just to go for the one Lance into Blink Dagger, trying to accelerate the pace of the game a little bit more. Of course, in a pub, you probably have more breathing room to farm up a bit more, be greedier, but he knows that he needs to hit that 13, 14 minute timing.
Oh, we're gonna get the move now from Nisha and Yapson. This is the move that you would expect turn into a tower if they can kill Tofu. They're stepping up a little bit, but still has a Keeper of the Light. It's very speedy, so can just zip up and down the lane. Question is if they want to commit for the kill behind the tower, and if they do, if GAIMIN Gladiators will actually respond here, maybe. See what the plan is, or if they'll just let Tofu try and hold his own.
Perhaps it's a catapult wave. Keeper like can't really deal with that. Of course, he can kill the normal creeps, but catapult he can't, so it just passively goes down.
Top lane. GAIMIN Gladiators is also getting the job done on the other side of the map.
Fortified.
Secret on the verge of losing their tier 1 top. So keeping things close. I mean, a very, very passive start here from both teams. We're already 11 minutes in. It's only 1-1. Same amount of towers taken down as kills that we've had from either side.
It's the calm before the storm, Owen.
Oh, it is. I mean, this game's going to pop off. I mean, you can feel that. Ace is quietly farming away Samale. He's doing what he can on the other side of the map. Samale's farm is a little bit behind all the other cores, though, right? He's actually having a bit of a slower start than... I don't know. Something slowed down on his farm, right? He's 1k behind any of the other cores at this stage.
Well, the key thing here is he hasn't been able to make that natural transition from the top lane where you TP into a mid engagement, you either go bottom to take the tower. Like, he's been locked into being the static farmer of top lane, farming whatever he's been given. Yeah. So he is naturally going to be lower net worth than most.
Top lane, Dracho, off the ball with the spear.
Radiant's bottom
That's going to have a lot of jump from Nishi's ready to turn, comes up with a sonic wave. They're bringing Dracho down low to Mel. Trying to finish off the kill, but he's going to get his beard back. Dracho keeps his distance. Celery, he'll be able to take Boom back out of that. But Dracho will get left behind, ends up dying to damage Amnesia. With a 1-for-1 there, despite the fact that we had numerous heroes from both teams turn up for that fight.
Yeah, if you're GAIMIN Gladiators, you should be very careful with these type of engagements because your damage is in the fact that if you hit the arena, it's the storm on top, the blast on top. There isn't this like continuous damage source in other drafts. So if they miss, like let's say the initial spear setup, or if they don't go on the correct hero, they might struggle. You compare that to Secret, it's a quap. Antimage slowly clicking around in these earlier fights. Like there's so many cheap spells. And you kind of saw it there. Secret happily brought everyone, and these are the small fights that they need to suddenly get a blink shard on the DK. Yeah. You suddenly have one more item to Battle Fury, and if you're GAIMIN Gladiators, look towards your Meepo. He's just completed the blink dagger. They're probably going to group up again. Arena's back up in like 15 seconds. This is where the pace of the game might, just speed up so much that Secret struggles to take every single fight. But it's still pretty close.
As close as it gets on the numbers. It really is. On top lane, Tofu. Get picked up here. Samel will be happy. A bit of gold and XP for him. He's able to get the finishing blow there onto Tofu.
Radiant's bottom tower.
That was a rather aggressive position from Tofu. He's quite a cheeky player. He likes to try and get a bit more from the map, but
here we go.
Oh, here's the blink.
Here's the jump onto Puppy. Now get the chain locked down, take out the Enchantress, and the space is there for them to remove the tower from the map.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Now, I'm looking towards.
So it begins.
They're going to go for it. They're going to start on the Roshan here with the three of them. Secret's able to do anything about this. Secret at the moment playing on the other side of the map, so nowhere near being able to get involved, and they don't themselves have vision around this point, so might not quite expect GAIMIN Gladiators to go for this. I guess they did see with the Wolf, so they just know that they can't really do anything to stop the Meepo from taking this Roshan at a very early timing at 15 minutes.
Yeah, but this is so crucial where if test this, they lose the fight, you're then giving GAIMIN Gladiators an Aegis, an extra 3-4 kills. That is way too much of the map you're sacrificing if you are to lose. The Secret, they identify the fact that this is GAIMIN Gladiators' power spike. This is their moment to try and win the game. Just give it up, push out the lanes. We just saw Anti-Mage pick up the Battle Fury. It was only like 10 seconds slower than average. So it wasn't like a disastrous start for Sumo, and that's kind of what you need. Everyone just keep slowly farming up, get the big ticket items, and then look to have that one decisive fight post-Aegis to put GAIMIN Gladiators back in open position. Yeah, he's tanking up, Chief.
Making space for Samel, I believe is what he would tell you. I'll
look how sad this is.
As finally gets blasted there by Tofu. Smoke came out for the Secret. They were starting to sweep up to maybe catch some of GAIMIN Gladiators splitting back up. Makes the attempt to try and save, but couldn't quite do so. Ace is in with the counterplay. He's going to be able to continue to keep Nisha locked down. Not got quite enough damage. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Draco comes down from the stairs. He's up the arena. So not only able to finish off Nisha, he's able to lock in both Ice and Yapsor. Yapsor can't run. The cleanup's there. GAIMIN Gladiators getting on top. And they're really starting to ramp up the pressure. You know they're going to be knocking on these tier 2s
Radiant's
now.
bottom tower is under attack.
They have to make this map so incredibly small. And we got to see the classic Meepo v Corp, right? It's one net, right click, one net again. You barely get out, but then of course it's a good 10-11 seconds of just awkward staticness that allows the gladiators to get into place and to clean up the kills. So yeah, Secret, they need to be careful. They have the pickups, but they don't have the team fight right now. The items will unlock the team fight. The heroes that they have enabled to pick up. So it's going to be push out the wave, edge, puppy, keep sending the creep top lane, top or anti-mage play aggressively bottom on that ward, and then in that absence of time, they should then be able to take a fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Secret, they opt against smoking or looking for any of these bigger plays and just play the wider map for now.
Is under attack.
We've got smoke from GAIMIN Gladiators. Ready to see what they can catch next. BKB's done, Duracho, so he'll have a pretty easy time being able to charge and get the arena down. Just having that amount of control to allow Ace all the time and space to go from target to target with the cleanup.
Oh, yeah, so very close. Broke the smoke on the Nyx Assassin. They didn't have any dust available on Ace or Duracho, so they couldn't blink and catch him.
Gotcha!
And they move away. They do get the D ward. Yeah, Sumo just kind of dancing away from this aggression.
He's gonna have him. I've got a TP out. Ace able to throw it out over the tree line. Put a stop to the TP. Set up for GAIMIN Gladiators to get another kill and continue to push in this top wave and start to pressure a second tier 2 here, 18 minutes in. Everything and continuing to go in terms of what you'd imagine GAIMIN Gladiators wanted it to do with the time they were ahead mid lane. Straight away, Duracho, he's able to get the opening, goes the follow-up. Ace locks down Nisha, Nisha's gone. GAIMIN Gladiators, they're making this map very, very scary.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Loses courier here. As Secret, I mean, this, especially when that Meepo was picked from the draft, you've got to imagine this was not something that Secret were imagining would come out here today in this first game. And
I don't think anyone was.
They've got to have a backup plan, T. And the question is, do they? In this sort of situation, can Sumail carry as an anti-mage against the speed and pace that GAIMIN Gladiators are bringing against them?
I think the saving grace might be the fact that like a butterfly, Manta, butterfly, Battle Fury, Abyssal, like I'm talking a very farmed anti-mage, and that's when you're going to be looking pretty good. Like the lockdown on Gladiators, it is in snares, vortex, and a spear. And anti-mage naturally he will thrive against this type of play if we can, fast forward time, if we don't hit the racks and get to like 20 minutes.
My spray.
He's charging in under the tier 2s. He doesn't have arena. He has got BKB and he has got backup, of course. Boom's over. BKB's going to have to be popped by Duracho. Still no arena for 10 seconds. Bringing in the TP. Nisha jumps the Sonic Wave onto Boom, but Boom's able to zip for safety. Bottom lane, Ace, he's dealing with Sumail. He's got the net lockdown. He's going to be able to keep him permanently holding position. Finishes off the kill. Back up top. Duracho continues to be in trouble. Arena is back up. Oh, I said in trouble. He's going to go for the TP out. They've got anything to stop it. They don't. He's actually able to make it back to base safely.
That was a good TP. That was a nice clean TP. And unfortunately for Sumail, the global presence of the Meepo, right? He sees an engagement top, gets a little cheeky going for an extra wave bottom, instantly blinked on and punished by that Meepo. And he's just about to complete Skadi as well.
Yeah, this is some masterful stuff from Ace. He's just going to keep
back into it.
And so much backup here, ready to come and help out as Boom sticks over on top of Ice. He's got everything. He also can't run. Ace ready to hold him down for infinity. Double kill for the Meepo. As I think it might be too much for them, T.
Yeah, it is right now. It's a 2500 HP Meepo. And if you think about the damage on Secret, like before they might have like the DK shard, this fireball does a nice little bit of damage, a sonic wave, a scream. These moves, all the numbers, it's not enough. Yeah.
They catch Sumail's gone again. They're pushing up the mid lane as well. Duracho, he's up to the tier 3s. The rest of the team's going to be ready to join him.
Dire's middle
There is no
tower
map
is
to
under
farm,
attack.
there's no way to get the items, and they have an incredible amount of burst now that the Meepo's online.
Dire's middle tower has
They can take whatever they want.
See what they can do. I do have the fireball. The AoE at least a little bit nice to get against the Meepo, but at the same time, Ace happy to wait it out. It's got a lot of HP to burn through. So the tanky Meepo is early on, 21 minutes in.
Just don't feel like we haven't even mentioned it. It's the Illuminate as well, healing up the Meepo. Normally, issues that Meepo faces is getting the heal. They're looking for a fight, kind of.
And now Dragon, Joe's happy to take the fight. The BKB arena down, he's got the two of them. Yep, getting all zooms in for the cleanup. Double kill for him. The buybacks have to come out from Secret. They're scrambling to defend their bait. He's jumped forward with the Dragon's tail, but there's no follow-up. Ace able to simply walk away with the safety of his teammates by his side. See where Gaming Gladiators want to go towards next. Still down the top, Secret.
Dire's top
They're going to
tower
try and get
is
out
under
on the map
attack.
with a smoke.
Ooh, okay. This is a cool one. This is the bait Suno. Think that he's farming by himself and will smoke behind him. I'm pretty sure
Dire's
Gaming
top
Gladiators
tower
are
has
going to be
fallen.
aware of this. They have a scan available if they want to, you know, double check. And also, they don't seem to be rushing down to catch him off guard. So
Dire's top tower is
the
under
one play
attack.
Secret has available, Gaming Gladiators aren't, you know, rushing towards it. Or are they? They've just smoked. Okay, no, they are actually looking for it.
But I mean, it does feel so
Dire's
scary
top
for
tower
Secret.
is
Even if
under
they're the
attack.
ones starting the fight, I don't know if they come out on top of it.
I mean, they don't have the damage, Owen. I'm just
No.
being polite here.
Not, absolutely not at this moment in time. Not compared to what Gaming Gladiators can tank against. Ace, he's in with a jump up, goes straight away for Samel. Samel's just gone. But that fireball down, Ace, he's just able to step to the side. Easy shot from Alpha. Running away from Squad, they're doing everything to try and burn this Meepo. But Ace is still alive. Can they even kill the Meepo once? Ace is stunned from Yaps, and they will. They're finally able to take Ace down. They have managed to kill him. But not without their own casualties, of course. It cost them 3 of their own cores there, Secret, to just get the trade on the Meepo. And Duraccio is heading down mid. He's got a Deso coming out, so he's ready to start bashing into the buildings. As his mid-melee racks will be gone. I think that sort of trade, 3 cores for the 1 Meepo, is probably as good as it's going to get for Secret in these team fights. It ain't getting any better than that.
It's perfect, you know. It's one of those games you get
Dire's top
everything, you
tower is
finally
under
kill the
attack.
Meepo, but then you look towards your team and it's inside first.
Dire's
Top
top
dead. It's like,
tower is
oh,
fallen.
okay, whatever. And he has the
Dire's top
Deso, like you
barracks
mentioned,
are
about to
under
be
attack.
delivered. There it is. With Iron, the overcharge, they have plenty of damage
Dire's
to
top
clear out
barracks has
both
fallen.
what was left of mid and now top lane. So yeah, this is beautiful stuff from Gaming Gladiators thus far.
Absolutely. So yeah, a demonstration that the Meepo pick in the right hands, the right situation. And if it catches some of these top teams by surprise, it's just
Radiant are
deadly.
scanning.
Yeah, it's like if you just think about it, right? It's like against Antimage, against Quap. They're both heroes that against maybe a big counter, they need to farm 15k gold to even think about playing into this hero. And that alone in Dota, concept-wise, that's just way too much time. Like Quap, it's Sanj, Kaya, a Shard, maybe a Shivas, then a BKB. A lot of gold. Anti-Mage, you still have to get Battle Fury to be able to farm. Then it's a Manta to maybe get out the roots, a Butterfly to survive the right clicks. Then you need some kill for it. Like, it's so much gold. And if you get there, sure, then you can maybe beat these heroes. You can play a long 40-50 minute game. But against teams that know how to execute it, can take away the first Roshan and the second Roshan, it is devastating. And like the map right now, if you look at Secret's vision, they've got a single ward. Actually, no, 2 wards now. Super far hugging the right-hand side of the map. Like, they control nothing. They are just victim to whoever Meepo wants to turn up.
Secret setting up in the trees, seeing if they can catch anyone by surprise. Duraccio, not an easy one to jump. If he gets the BKB off, chances are he'll be able to put the arena and buy time for the rest of his team to turn the fight around. See if they try for it. Gonna start poking.
Where's the party?
Already Boom. He's ready just to look to hunt in the trees. Secret, they're already backing out of here. They don't want to take this fight.
Just
They want to cut the creeps, but Boom and Celery, they're keeping the wave safe.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They'll look maybe
Another
towards the
question
next
is the
one.
secret then. Yeah, skip this wave, grab mid, grab top, but again, this
Dire's
isn't going to really
bottom
help you
tower
too much.
has
This is just to do something, to kind of fill the void in which they're waiting for them to barrel into the bottom, you know?
Dire's
It
bottom
definitely
tower
feels
is
like
under
that.
attack.
Like, you know, what sort of options are there to
Dire's
deal with this
bottom
Meepo
tower
problem at
has
this
fallen.
stage? It just feels so hard because it is really been a perfect storm for the Meepo this game in terms of what it's picked against it and what it's been picked with. In the arena now on the bottom lane. They've got the lockdown on the Nisha. He's going to try and get out. He can't do so in time. Both dead, no buybacks. As GAIMIN Gladiators, they're up and ready to take out this third and final tier 3 in barracks. Only Samel, Yap's got Ice left alive to try and defend, but let's be honest, there's just not much of a defense. And Secret now, GG is called, ladies and gentlemen, game 1. Going to GAIMIN Gladiators. As whoever makes the call to switch things up, get that Meepo in for race as the last pick. I mean, it was genius, team. It worked out as good as they could have imagined there. It was perfect.
No, and I'm so happy that it